Ladies and gentlemen of the old world, I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to this community showdown. It's going to be the Wood Elves led by Beaver facing off against the Dinosaurs, who shall be helmed by the Rat King. A little bit weird, the Rat's playing the Lizardmen, but it is what it is. Here on the Celestial Lake, and it is going to be an old school Warhammer 2 build here, as we do have Orion and Ariel, the power couple of power couples here. And that actually was meta for a while in Warhammer 2 when the DLC first came out. Before Ariel, I think she got a couple nerfs, I can't remember, but yeah, there was a time where I think is she unbreakable still? I can't remember what it was. She causes terror, but yeah, she used to be unbreakable also. I don't think she is anymore. But yeah, anyways, as far as the build goes, it's going to be Deepwood Scouts on the outside. Deepwood Scouts are okay against Lizards. If they can shoot into the unshielded flank of Saurus or into Skink Skirmishers, Pterodon Riders, those type of things, they can do great damage. But against the shielded cohorts in Saurus and the big heavily armored dinos, they don't do a ton of damage. But if they can get those good targets, like for example, melt down these Skink Skirmishers, maybe we'll see some bread. So for the rest of the army, it's going to be Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson's good at hunting dinosaurs, and he does have some decent crowd clearing as well via the Hounds of Orion as well as the Hawk's Talon. Ariel's an interesting choice. She does have Tempest. Tempest is good against Pterodons and any sort of flying threat, which probably aren't even meta against lizards, but still, not the worst thing to have. Dwellers Below, good at nuking Saurus, and we do have free healing with the Berry Wine, so use this to heal up Orion and call it a freaking day. So there are going to be some Eternal Guard, and on the other side for the Lizards, it is going to be the Skink Skirmishers. A very good choice, pretty much auto-brought in every single matchup. They're going to be moving up on the objectives, getting nailed pretty hard here, losing quite a bit of HP, as we do see the other side, those guys getting blasted there as well. But Skinks do manage to get the objective and don't take a ton of damage in the process, a bit, but it is going to be doing some forward scouting for the solar engines, the sci-fi technology of the Lizardmen, going to be coming to bear here against the Deepwood Scouts. Saurus Warriors, we do have Go-Rok. Oh, it's going to be Go-Rok with the Beastcaster. Flock of Doom Spam and Manticore Summon. Both are good. Flock of Doom, usually it's going to be a little bit better usage of Wind's Magic. But the Manticore Summons aren't terrible if your opponent does have a squishy character descended after a character that isn't mounted and can't run away. Now, Colin here in the back is going to be Wildwood Rangers. I do like that choice. They can move up and cleave through the Saurus Warriors effectively. Eternal Guard will lose to Saurus, but they'll hold for a long time. They have super high melee defense, and with Orion and Ariel fighting with them, we'll see how it turns out. So now Deepwood Scouts shooting into the flank of the Saurus. Initially shooting into the shields, but once they kind of pass that threshold and turn their backs to these archers, that's when the Deepwood Scouts could actually do some really considerable damage. We do see a Manticore summon right out of the gates. All right. Spears are in. Orion going to be charging, and he did use the Hounds of Mel Gibson over there on the other side and did a little bit of topical damage, nothing crazy. And that's going to be a big fat Dwellers Below there. So that's going to be some big damage. It is going to be hitting the Legion of Chaqua as well as these Saurus Warriors here. So that was a really, really good cast. In response, we do see Flock of Doom coming down from the Dinos. Not going to do much damage. And yeah, that Dwellers Below, honestly, not bad. Shield of the Aeons and Stand Your Ground activated. But the Legion, as well as these Saurus Warriors in the front, getting hit. Acorn of the Ages also activated from Ariel. A nice little damage ability. As we do see the elite Elven Infantry arrive, the Wildwood Rangers. So Manticore, what is it going after? Looks like it's going after Ariel, which isn't a bad idea. She only has 30 armor, so the Manticore is a little bit indecisive here. Looks like it's getting back up in the sky and is now going to be charging it again. So Orion here, able to route this formation. The Elves are really, really laying a whooping on that Lizard army. Now, on the other side, excuse me, got something caught in my throat. Help me, I'm too weak. But it is going to be Skinks and Skink Skirmishers poking into the silver shields of the Eternal Guard, while in the back of the Bastillodon with the Solar Engine actually diving into melee. So that's a pretty bold strategy from the Rat King here, moving in and going after the Deepwood Scouts with the range unit. I think he might have had a line of sight issue here, and they just kind of accidentally moved in. But you can see it is tanking a lot of the ammunition. So in a way, even though this is a big blunder, it is like absorbing a lot of the ammo of these good archers on a 140 armor unit, which isn't going to be cost effective from an ammunition perspective. Now, we do have a Duel of Fates here. It is going to be Mel Gibson battling versus Go-Rok. Horn of the Wild Hunt activated, going to be giving charge bonus to the rest of the Elven army. In a straight duel, Go-Rok should probably lose this, but he is backed up by his little caster over here. And we do see the dart coming down from Ariel. So Ariel helping out her boyfriend here with the Dart of Doom, which does apply a weakened effect. So you can see his stats are weakened, only 300 weapon strength, and their duel will continue. Now, Wild Riders arriving, but unfortunately for them, they do end up charging into some of the spear units, but it's not like the old Age of the Ring, which we've been casting lately, where spears instantly kill cav units. No. Wildwood Rangers and Eternal Guard battling versus the Legion of Chaqua, and the Wildwood Rangers going to be rotating over to try and flank into some of the skirmishers, and it does look like the Lizards have been able to win Objective 3 pretty decisively here. On the backside, the Bastillodon with the Solar Engine, value on this boy, only 400, so not super great, and the Solar Engine just not shooting into the tree super effectively. Big blunder, though. The Solar Engine should have been sitting right here, and you should have been using them to shoot into either Orion, Ariel, or the Wildwood Rangers or Eternal Guard. Those are all very, very viable choices there. So Skink Cohorts and Saurus Warriors do get caught by another Awakening of the Wood. So the Wood has been awakened. That's what she said. And we do see the Ancient Salamander getting into enemy lines. Very, very dangerous territory, but shooting into the back of these guys. And this is what we're all here for. The duel between these very cool characters here, as we do see 556 value there. And Go-Rok's holding his own. 4560 against 5640. Orion is very tired, and Go-Rok is still active. So the Vigor coming into play. And Go-Rok did bring all of his items. He brought the shield and the mace. So that is going to be helping him out. Both Ariel coming in, a little bit of cheating going on here. Ariel actually doing a little bit better than Orion did. Orion going to be going after the Salamander, which is the correct play. He's an anti-large fighter. That's what he wants. I mean, he's okay against infantry characters, but yeah, going after the Sally is going to be the right choice. So Elves still got their archers chilling out in the tree line. Eternal Guard going to be moving up at the point, and we do see the Wildwood Rangers getting chased back by the, not Wildwood Rangers, the Wild Riders getting chased back by the Coldland Spear Riders. Anti-large, Wild Riders trade okay if they can get the charge off, but in this situation, it's going to be a very bad trade for them. Hounds of Mel Gibson activated here, dropping it like it's hot on the Skink Cohorts, doing a hell of a lot of damage, man, like half HP off those guys. Orion does have some very good crowd clearing, and now he's going to be moving in to help out the Wild Riders, and he should be helpful. I mean, every attack of Orion, 600 weapon strength with a pretty substantial bonus versus large of 15, is going to be able to chew down a handful of these guys. But Ariel taking a bit of a hard fight here. War Dancers will provide some nice buffering, and does she have the healing and the berry wine? She does connect to there. The Rock of it's activated. Dwayne Go-Rok Johnson back here is able to get that fat Vigor replenishment. So Vigor is very, very good for the, of course, stats that you do get from it, from not being tired. And Ariel winded, still able to get the fight going, though, because of the support from the War Dancers. Over here on Objective 3, we do see the Elvish Archers just chilling out in the trees, just kind of AFK shooting where they can. And Orion dropping a big Vortex here. But he kind of gets surrounded in the process. Like, he was fighting with the Wild Riders, but then they kind of got outnumbered and started losing. But he is a pretty brutal fighter here. Probably has the Cloak of Isha. Yeah, so basically when he gets low, less than 25%, the Cloak procs, starts healing him and gives him ward save as well, making him incredibly tough to finish off. Granted, Saurus Spears are going to be able to trade into him, I would say, very, very cost effectively. In the back, we do have the Salamander shooting into these War Dancers. War Dancers and Ariel trying their best to take down Dwayne Go-Rok Johnson, but it looks like he is going to be able to get away. How fast is he? 31 speed. War Dancers and Ariel are both considerably faster than him, so if they want to catch him, they can. It looks like she's going to be trying to rescue her beloved, who's very trapped here. 900 HP for the King of the Woods. Wild Riders do get the Horn of the Wild Hunt as they charge back in there, and we do see actually a bit of a buckling. Orion really trying to put this game on his back. Foe Seeker and Horn of the Wild Hunt activated. Flock of Doom going to be coming down, nailing the Wild Riders. Nothing terribly brutal, but Go-Rok also going to be trying to maybe help finish off Orion. Orion really needs to get out of this fight. He still has a lot of healing cap, so, you know, definitely getting him away, letting him heal up to like 2,000 HP or wherever he could. Oh, the berry wine is clutch. So he's going to be getting crunk. He's got his crunk juice over here, ladies and gentlemen, and he's going to be drinking it up. So Orion spearing down the last cavalry units and some of the Saurus. Manticore Summon activated. The Manticore definitely should have been sent after Orion when he was low, but with the berry wine, that's going to be huge. Also, Acorn of the Ages, blasting those units, and it does look like Wood Elves taking a bit of ground back here. So very, very back and forth game between these players. But Go-Rok is in there. The Shield of the Aeons, 93 melee attack. That is thick. And the Mace of Ulamok as well, giving him quite some good sauce, as we do see Ariel getting shot by the old Bastillodon back here. And that's some sort of an AoE. Probably either the Hounds of Mel Gibson or the Hawk's Talons. It's going to be one of those. It is the Hawk's Talon. Mel Gibson sitting at 800 HP here. Go-Rok sitting at 800 as well. Elven Archers still just sitting at like semi-AFK in those trees. I mean, look, hey, at least they're using all their ammo. You know, they're getting it done. They're not being killed. Orion, 500 HP. Dwayne Go-Rok Johnson going to be sitting here. Ariel should probably move in here and try and help to provide some buffering. He's very, very close to dying. Great Stag Knights being called in. Great Stag Knights will definitely wreck Saurus Warriors. They'll do well. But will Orion escape? Or so he's just going to stay the course and fight and see, you know, see what how the cookie crumbles. He doesn't have any abilities active right now. He's at 300 HP. Will he yell freedom, and will he go quietly into the good night? I mean, that's a lot of Lizardmen. It looks like he's going to be staying the course. He's, does get taken down by Go-Rok and the Spears and the Coldland Spear Riders. So value is currently favoring the Rat King. Looking at the points right now, we do see the Lizardmen owning both these objectives. The Great Stag Knights on the other side, able to get a big fight in here. And Feral Coldlands will be wrecked by Stag Knights as well. They have really good armor piercing. The Blessed 69 weapon strength, that's what she said. Very, very good. And yeah, we do see the Lizard position getting buckled up. Objective number 3 is going to be taken by the Elves in a matter of moments, and objective number 2 still being controlled by the Elves here. So Elves are going to need a little bit of time to get back on the board. Salamanders will get some very nice DPS, and Dwayne Go-Rok Johnson is back in business. The Spear is going to be very stalwart despite being damaged. Saurus Warriors have very high leadership. Should be tough for the Wild Riders to break through. If the Wild Riders just hide behind the spear units and Go-Rok, then they should be able to probably fend off these fresh units. Archer is very, very low in ammo. Value on the Deepwood Scouts here is going to be 900, pretty good. This one is going to be 800, and these guys are going to be 800 as well. So, hey, look, sitting in the trees and just shooting at Saurus and various units in the Bastillodons all game, they did end up paying for themselves. So, hey, that is not bad at all, right? Take the small wins where you can. Great Stag Knights penetrating into the backfield of the Dinos, but going to want to get on top of the Salamander hunting pack. That is for sure. War Dancers getting an objective 3, but going to be eating a little bit of Salamander firepower. As on the home objective, Ariel's going to be teaming up with the Wild Riders. So will she be avenging her husband? I mean, it's very possible here. She's got 2,400, 2,000 HP, 19, 18, 89. And now it looks like Go-Rok is kind of in the wrong neighborhood, as Ariel is relatively healthy. And you have to remember, Ariel does cause terror too. So she is able to bunker bust these positions of units that are low leadership. So in that case, that is, of course, the Saurus Warriors. So will Ariel attack into Dwayne Go-Rok Johnson? He is at 595 HP. Wild Riders do have good combat stats, but they are a little bit debuffed by his dazed ability right now. Back on the point here, Great Stag Knights taking a very difficult fight. They're fighting against Salamanders, Warriors, Saurus Warriors, and an Ancient Sally. Ancient Sallies are respectable little fighters. They can actually do some decent work. So, you know, they are able to push back the Great Stag Knights with the support of the Saurus. Saurus have 52 weapon strength, so they can get through the HP and the lowish armor of those Wild Riders. Here we have Bastillodon versus War Dancers. Not good for the War Dancers at all. They are, they're, you know, anti-infantry. When they're fighting big monsters, they're not going to connect. And they have very bad armor piercing as well, so they won't be able to get through that 140, that is for sure. But we do see the points kind of closing a little bit. Ariel is going to maybe need to rotate over to Objective 3. Eternal Guard on the way up, and more Wild Riders. Need something anti-large to deal with this Bastillodon, that is for sure. But these Great Stag Knights really going Giga Chad back here. It's kind of running through everything, bouncing around, and despite being low health for a long time, I guess they still have 19 models, which is pretty solid. And the Saurus Warriors will get folded up by Wild Riders if they move into open field out of the trees and get charged. Also, the Feral Cold Ones are not going to have a good time versus Wild Riders. So maybe there's a little something here. Ancient Salamander getting trapped up by the Great Stag Knights. They will trade well into it. And where are these Wild Riders going? The Wild Riders look to be looping around, going after Skink Skirmishers, running them down. Okay. Now Ariel's going to be trying her hand on the far side objective, but really tough. The Legion of Chaqua here. Using the shield, which gives them missile resist. So I think just kind of panic clicking that ability right there. Eternal Guard and Ariel might be able to win against the Legion. On the backside, we do see Saurus Warriors being called in. That's a good call, should help hold that objective. But this entire time, Wood Elves are maintaining objective control, but will they be able to hold it for long? On the backside, Wild Riders charging, doing some great work, getting in there and running down the Salamander pack. Beautiful play here by the Beaver. So the Beaver able to get a nice one. And where will the Beaver's legions go next? Will they move over and go after the Skink Skirmisher? Certainly not a bad idea, but honestly, I wouldn't hate seeing these guys move into the back of the Saurus and get a big sandwich right here. Yeah, Wild Riders and Great Stag Knights doing good. Great Stag Knights, if they get us around onto the Bastillodon, could definitely kill that. Now, Ariel abandoning the objective here. She's not down, and Wood Elves kind of have like a backup lord here, which is kind of funny, because Ariel basically is like a legendary lord. Eternal Guard versus Legion. The Legion will win that one. They are just a straight-up stronger unit. And the Great Stag Knights need to probably retreat away from these Saurus Warriors. Where are the Wild Riders going? Wild Riders battling it out. Ancient Salamander is routing, and Feral Cold One's coming into fight. Now, they do have 90 armor, which helps against the Wild Riders, but their just combat stats are not going to be up to the task. Wild Riders will actually win that fight, and will be able to probably win this little miniature 3v1 right here. So Ariel moving back into combat as the Eternal Guard with their spears are on their way up. Ariel just getting... She has some really cool attack animations, by the way. Let's see if we can get some of those. She's got some big Dragon Ball Z shit going on there. Going to be growing flowers under the feet of the Saurus. I would imagine those are poisonous flowers. And she uses her dreaded fairy attack right there. So the Terror Route could be relevant. We could see some of the Saurus Warriors get Terror Routed off. On the other side, we do see the Wild Riders, so they are able to win against the Cold One Knights, or Cold One, Feral Cold Ones. Yeah, just Feral Cold Ones right there. And Wildwood Rangers moving in. So now it looks like the Wood Elves are kind of grinding some value back. Like, if you look around, the Lizards don't have a ton on the field. You know, both armies are leaderless right now. The Eternal Guard are going to be uber effective against a lot of these units. Wildwood Rangers, they don't get bonus. They used to be a bonus versus large unit. It was very weird. They had like bonus versus large when they were in the woods. Yeah, now if they're terror-causing units nearby, they actually get a little bit stronger. So they have that old ability that was kind of more relevant versus large units. Ariel actually ends up breaking. So yeah, there was a time when she first came out where she was unbreakable. And completely honest with you, if you made her unbreakable, I don't think she'd be OP. Like, that was something that was just like of the meta of the time, which of course has changed drastically since then. Of course, domination mode is you know, the multiplayer jam now here. But Ariel's running -17. Nice catch there. Looking at the points, we do see currently objective number 2 is owned by the Hardwood, and the other objectives have been taken by the dinosaurs. But the Wood Elves look like they're going to get this one. Wildwood Rangers with their anti-infantry and the armor piercing, which is relevant against 660 armor of SARS. we'll be able to beat them pretty badly. They look really cool. Very Lord of the Rings-esque, right? You know, that cool kind of cowl look, and obviously most modern fantasy tropes have been inspired by the works of Tolkien, so no surprises there. And these damn Cav on the backfield, man, still putting in work, running down the reinforcements. Dwayne Go-Rok Johnson called back out. Not a bad idea. It does give leadership, but he's probably not cheap. With all the abilities that we see brought on him, he's rather expensive, so that might be giving the Wood Elves a bit of a momentum shift, because he's going to take a while to get up to the objectives and, you know, provide the utility here. Looking at the points right now, man, this is a really, really tight game. We do see the Wood Elves with a double cap. And is there anything fighting on the home objective here? It does not look like it. So here it is just the Legion of Shaqua versus the Eternal Guard. Collins for the Wood Elves. What is it going to be? Wood Elves are banking 1,500 right now. So maybe the Beaver's going to be trying to get Mel Gibson back out. Maybe he saw his opponent do it, and he's like, all right, come at me, bro. Good Colin. Cold One Spear Riders do defeat Wild Riders typically. There are some variables in which the Wild Riders win with like the Horn of the Wild Hunt on the charge, things like that. But overall, the armor in tandem with the anti-large bonus, very, very good. So those guys will get pushed back. All right, advancing up are the Wild Hunters of Kurnus. A very solid choice here. Good against the Bastillodon, decent against infantry. It's still a Wild Rider unit, right? So it has the same functionality that you would have against infantry that Wild Riders do have. Might need to double down on the objective here. Oh, this is so close. I actually think that as it stands, it is going to be a victory for the Lizardmen on just one objective. Just freaking barely, guys. Oh my god, it's literally going to be a couple points. So yeah, the Wood Elves realized this. He was able to do the mental math in his head. We do see the War Dancers heading over to Objective 1. Lizard's going to be pressing towards Objective number 2 here, but I just don't think the Wood Elves are going to have enough time. I think it's going to be very, very close. But yeah, they would need to get more killing power over here really quickly. Wild Rangers doing an excellent job. We do see some archers being called in. Definitely just mobility is the only thing that's really relevant. One thing that's missing from the Wood Elf player's army is the cheap cavalry. The Glade Riders are very good here. They do functional damage against Arse and cohorts, and also can chase down skirmishers, provide you with good capture weight. But at the end of the day, I think we are going to be seeing the Lizards get this. I just think it's not possible for them to get that unless I mess up the math. Let me check here real quick. So Wild Hunters of Kurnus doing well. This objective looks like it's going to be flipping here. And on the backside, Ancient Salamander coming back is incredibly clutch, just because it's a terror-causing unit. So having it here to cause terror is going to be really, really good. So the dreaded Rat King and his Lizards, they are fighting for objective number 3. On the backside, how are the shots looking from the archers? Will they be able to stabilize the objective? I don't think so. Wild Hunters are good, but Go-Rok is here. That objective looks like it's going to be flipping, and within 20 points, considering also this objective is going to be lost by the Wood Elves, looks like that is going to be taken. That is 100% a GG for the dinosaurs, and GG, well played indeed. Very fun game. You know, those players played some very fun, weird play styles. There was big blunders on both sides, for sure. Some positional blunders, throwing away units here and there. All good, you know, that's part of the game, and it's what made it fun to watch. Orion definitely could have been retreated and salvaged at several points and healed quite a bit. Ariel with 3,500 value. She went apeshit, geez. Deepwood Scouts paid for themselves. Certainly, you know, neither of the builds were super optimal, but again, it's fun. You know, Go-Rok getting 3,400 is cool. Flock of Doom is awesome. Solar Engines are a good choice in this mashup. They just need to be kept a little bit deeper set, and honestly, the rest of the build was fine. He had some good choices. So GG well played to those Chads, and great stuff from the Beaver. I loved his heroic core. It was very fun. And who doesn't love a little bit of Dwayne Go-Rok Johnson? I thought that was cool from Rat King. He was an absolute beast mode as well. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. We'll see you on the other side. Take care of yourselves. And that's going to be it for tonight.